Next up, we have Luke Reinehr. He is the CEO and chairman of Kalamazoo Resources. Love that name, Kalamazoo Resources, ASX code KZR. Luke Reinehr, welcome to the Virtual Gold Conference. Let's hear all about your world-class gold projects, both in Victoria and WA.
Thanks, Kerry, and good morning. And look, once again, thanks for the opportunity to be able to participate in your virtual gold conference. It's during COVID, it's a great opportunity for us all to get together.
Thanks, Luke.
So, Kerry, just the usual forward-looking statements here, which we obviously have to need to show you. Then, if I can just give you perhaps just an overview as to where we're at the moment for Kalamazoo. I think we're in a great position for an Australian gold explorer, and we've got major projects in both the Victorian and the Pilbara Goldfields. And I think, as we all know, these are two of the most highly rated gold provinces in the world today. Here in Victoria, we're going through our second gold rush, thanks to our friends at the Fosterville Gold Mine. And fortunately for us at Kalamazoo, we were first movers in Victoria in acquiring our Castlemaine and South Muckleford projects, which between them have got a historical production of about 8 million ounces and are only about 45 kilometres to the southwest of Fosterville.
Well, and for those people that don't understand what is Fosterville, it's one of the biggest gold discoveries in Victoria.
Absolutely, incredibly high grade too, Kerry. It's considered to be the world's highest grade gold mine currently. And Kerry, I think as we discussed last year, we had a discovery late last year of what they call an epizonal gold antimony system at South Muckleford. And this mineralisation is very similar to what's seen at the nearby Fosterville and the Costerfield gold mines. And we're just about to start our second drill program there to see if we can locate the source of the high-grade gold and antimony. Also over in the west, we've made great progress at our Ashburton Gold Project over the last 12 months, and we're now into our third round of drilling there. Our aim there, Kerry, is to increase the resource there well beyond 2 million ounces and to progress development plans. And in addition, we'll also be drilling shortly at our sister's gold project in the Pilbara, which is just up the road from De Grey's world-class semi-discovery. So we've got some great projects we're drilling and planning to drill on. And Kerry, just in the last month or so, we've scored a real win with some significant lithium potential, which we've identified at one of our gold projects called the Dons Hill Gold Project in the Pilbara. And I'll mention that shortly if I can. Just to give you a bit of the corporate overview, as you can see from this chart, we've got a very tight share register, and our top 5 shareholders control more than 50% of the stock. Last year, our exploration activities in Victoria got the attention of Eric Sprott from Kirkland Lake and Novo Resources, and they approached us and they made a cornerstone investment, and they each now hold about 7%. Currently, we've got a market cap of about $50 million. We're down to about 38 or 39 cents, so we're off a little bit from where we were 6 months ago, but a lot of the gold stocks are. But we're well funded. We've got about $7 million of cash and receivables and treasury, and we've got an ongoing stream of options, Kerry, that are providing a regular capital inflow for us.
So Luke, sorry to interrupt you, but do you think that given the projects that you've got, etc., and obviously this is not financial advice, ladies and gentlemen, do your own research, but given the share price at the moment, it's probably a very good time to take a very good look at Kalamazoo.
Kerry, I think we're cheap. That's my view at the moment. And look, I'll come to that as well shortly, because if you just look at our Ashburton Gold Project,
yep.
I don't think the market's giving any value to that. It's 1.65 million ounces of gold. And often with gold projects, you value them on an EV per ounce. I don't think the market's giving any value to that. Part of the reason is that project basically had been put on care and maintenance by Northern Star for 10 years. So not many people are aware of it, but we're changing that. And the best way for us to do that is to continue to increase the resource and to have development plans. And we're well progressed in that regard. Kerry, look, one of the things obviously for all explorers over the last 18 months is COVID as well. But we made a conscious decision last year that due to COVID, we would have 2 very distinct and separate exploration teams. So we've got one operating in Victoria and one operating in WA. So travel restrictions are not impacting us, and that's working out very well.
That was smart.
Yeah, well, it's probably good luck rather than good management, I think. We had no choice. We had 2 teams in WA and Victoria, and so we thought, well, let's keep them separate, and that way we're not going to have any issues with isolation. Kerry, let me just give you an update, if I can, first, just on Victoria. We believe, we're Melbourne-based, and we believe it's great to be exploring here in Victoria because the average gold grade, it's an incredibly high 15 grams a tonne, compared to WA, which I think is 1.8 grams. And it's well known that in the Bendigo zone where we operate, it was one of the richest goldfields in the world, with more than 60 million ounces produced in the 1850s to 1890s. However, look, despite its rich history, not much has happened here in the last 150 years, as we all know. However, that all changed a few years ago when Eric Sprott's Kirkland Lake had major success at Fosterville. And now this, as I mentioned, this is now acknowledged as the world's highest grade gold mine. And Kerry, this has gone up a notch just by the release in the last 18 months by the Victorian government of a large exploration tenure surrounding the Fosterville mine, as you can see on this map. And being just 10 kilometres to the north of our Castlemaine tenement border, these leases in our mind would be an excellent fit for our Victorian portfolio. So with the support of all our major shareholders, we've lodged a very competitive bid for blocks 3 and 4, as you can see on this map.
Sorry, where are they, Luke? Where's block 3? Oh, yeah, got it. For those who can't see.
Yeah, you can see the green star on that map, Kerry. That's where Fosterville is. And then you've got block 3 on the right-hand side and block 4 completely surrounding it. And then you see those areas in the gold, immediately to the south. That's our Myrtle Gold Project, which we picked up just in the last couple of months. And then, of course, Castlemaine and the South Muckleford Gold Project. So, it's a great location. And if we could be successful in picking up one of those blocks, perhaps, we think the market will really like the way we've consolidated this area.
Yeah.
However, Kerry, the government was to award this tender in March this year. However, it's been delayed on a number of occasions for a number of reasons, which is very frustrating for us and for all tenderers, but we're just going to have to continue to wait. So our exploration strategy in Victoria, we're focused on finding a large gold resource for 1 million ounce plus at a grade of more than 10 grams a tonne. At our Castlemaine project, as I mentioned, almost 6 million ounces of gold was produced there, mainly in the 1850s, Kerry, and it's widely considered to be the world's richest or shallow goldfield. And that means there are thousands of shafts and workings on our project area, and this provides us with numerous walk-up drill targets for us to test. And yet, if you just go 10 kilometres to the west to our South Muckleford project, nearly all the gold produced there was underground at a very high grade of 28 grams a tonne.
Wow.
And of course, just to the north, you've got the incredibly rich Fosterville gold mine, and they're now mining down to 1,000 metres and producing up to 49 grams a tonne. So you can see we're certainly in the right location for high-grade gold.
Are you on the same geological structure as well, Luke, from Fosterville?
Yeah, it's the Bendigo zone. So yeah, very similar, Kerry, and we're seeing a lot of similarities in that. However, there is a challenge in discovering these large, high-grade, large resources because the area is very structurally complex. And so it takes a lot of work. So as there's been very little modern exploration on our project areas over the last 100 years, literally, we're throwing a lot of new technologies at these areas that have never been done before. And part of this strategy is to work with the CSIRO and a number of collaboration projects, and that's working out really well. And so with these technologies, we've now identified 10 high priority drill targets on these 2 project areas. And we're going to drill these over the next couple of years, as you can see on this map. These targets include the Mustang and Lightning area, which we've now drilled, Fentimans, which is over on the left-hand side of this map, which is that epizonal gold antimony prospect. We've got other targets at South Muckleford to the south, extensions at Wattle Gully, which is a historical underground gold mine at Castlemaine, which produced about 400,000 ounces at about 10 or 11 grams, and Tamaguila, which is another project a little bit further to the south, further to the north. So, Kerry, just our first 2 drill programs. In March last year, we completed our first drill program at the Mustang prospect at Castlemaine, and we achieved, anomalous or high-grade gold in all 14 drill holes there. It was a diamond program, including a really nice intersection of almost, 1.5 metres at 261 grams a tonne. And then we completed a further drill program about 2 k's to the south at the Lightning prospect at the end of last year. There we did 6 diamond holes, and we again encountered anomalous to high-grade gold. So that's now extended this trend to about 2.5 kilometres in length. But we've got a lot more work to do here. So what we've now undertaken at Castlemaine is a project-wide soil sampling program in collaboration with the CSIRO using what they call the ultrafine soil sampling, and that's currently underway.
Luke, if I could just interrupt you, because you said earlier that it's a complex mineralised system.
Yep.
There are a lot of people at the conference today that aren't geologists, that are just investors. What are the challenges and why is it so complex? And what are the challenges with that? Is it challenged with drilling? Is it challenged with soil sampling? Is it challenged just in finding where to go? What, if you could just, in layman's terms, explain the challenges?
Combination of all those things, Kerry. But perhaps a really good example is this. If you look at the Fosterville mine, that's been mined for 20 years, and it was a low-grade, sulfide, difficult ore body, a couple of grams a tonne, open pit. And it was only when Eric Sprott and Quinton Henney from Novo started looking at it in the structure and started looking at depth that they then started finding this epizonal type gold structure, but it's a great depth. It's 600 meters now down to 1200 meters. But the other thing too is that because it's really high grade gold, it's actually contained in a very, very small area. It's not a widespread area. Look, I can't quite remember the exact dimensions of the Phoenix and the Swan Zone, which are their really high grade zones, but it's probably only 100 meters long, 100 meters wide. They're very, very small because they're incredibly rich. So the key is you actually got to find it. And, it's, again, there's just a lot of effort. And what we're trying to do is just throw a lot of technologies at it that haven't been done before. And so the key is, can we get onto one of these high grade chutes and then really start to drill into it or target it? And so that's, one of the things we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
So our most recent drill program, which we're now drilling again, is at the South Muckleford project. And again, this is very similar to that Fosterville type project we're talking about, Kerry, which is what they call an epizonal or high-grade gold antimony system. So it has a lot of antimony involved in it. And this mineralisation is very similar to what's seen at the nearby Fosterville and the Costerfield mines. And so we've called this project our Fentiman's Reef project, and it's just 3 kilometres to the east of the Malden 2 million ounce gold field, and a similar distance to the south of a gold processing plant, which is owned by a third party, which could become helpful or useful for us. The historical records at Fentiman's had it in the 19th century, production up to about 1 ounce a tonne or 31 grams. But the production also had this very high grade antimony or stibnite loads, and it contained up to 42% stibnite or antimony. And that's kind of what we're looking for. So what we've done there is we've completed soil sampling, again, lots of new technologies. We've done an IP survey across the whole area. We're flying LiDAR surveys, which is, by way of drones, etc. And these results have helped us with the design of a 4,500 metre RC drill program, which we've just completed, Kerry, and we're just waiting for the final assays. This drilling's focused beneath and along strike of the Fentiman's mine. So we're looking underneath this mine, and we're certainly liking what we're seeing so far. Though, as I mentioned before, if it's a Fosterville or Costerfield style of mineralisation, it's likely to be at depth. And so, that's very complicated in its own right. Kerry, being in the state forest, we're drilling on Crown land. And so this means, all our activities need to be very low impact or have minimal disturbance, and with drill pads located on existing tracks. And that's what we're doing, so to have minimal impact. And as you can see here, very well tucked away.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know.
You mentioned our name before, Kerry, about Kalamazoo. And so, even though we are drilling on tracks, we've made sure we've kept off the railway line or the rail tracks. And it's quite ironic that the old Castlemaine and Malden tourist trains run right through this project area. And why this is ironic is, the Kalamazoo name comes from an old train that ran through the Pilbara more than 100 years ago. So,
is that right?
We're finding it very interesting. Our early drill results and assays there, they are very encouraging. And from this work, we've identified, multiple shallow gold antimony arsenic reef structures. And these results have given us the confidence then to go and test and look for these high-grade gold shoots. However, like all exploration companies across Australia, we're being impacted with very long delays with assays from the labs. And it's not the lab's fault, it's just there's so much exploration happening at the moment. However, this is not stopping us. And so, we're testing these reef structures, both along strike and at depth, and we're now following up with the diamond drill program. And this drilling started just last week to further test these targets and also to deepen some existing RC holes where water flows prevented us from reaching the target underneath this Fentiman's mine. And Kerry, we've got another target also, which is our Tamaguila Gold Project. Now, this is located about 40 k's to the northwest of South Muckleford. And this was a very productive gold field in the 19th century and produced almost, I think it was 600,000 ounces, again, at about 1 ounce a tonne or 31 grams a tonne. why this is an interesting area too is not only was it a very rich gold field, but just up the road is where they found what they call the Welcome Stranger gold nugget. I don't know if you recall that.
I do remember that, yep.
So that was the largest gold nugget ever found, and it weighed 3,123 ounces, which certainly puts some of those Pilbara nuggets that have been found to shame. You know, that was a seriously big nugget. We've got a 2,000 metre RC drill program planned there for later this year, and we're going to test some very significant gold in soil anomalies, as you can see on this map on the left. And it's on top of existing historical shallow shafts. This program will also be along strike from what they call the historic Poverty Reef mine, which you can just again see just to the south, which produced about 360,000 ounces at 92 grams a tonne. So again, you know, 3 ounces a tonne. So that's why we really like Victoria, is that, you know, it's really high grade. But of course, you know, as we know, they're in small areas, so you've got to try and lock on to one of these projects. Kerry, if I can, I'll now turn to our Pilbara projects. I think it's well known, you know, what was a great development for us last year was we acquired from Northern Star the 1.65 million ounce Ashburton Gold Project. And it's located about 300 kilometres south of Port Hedland. This project's been on our radar for quite a while, to what we consider to be a significant potential for us to be able to expand this resource past 2 million ounces. And in this area, it's well known that, you know, the Pilbara's subject to major gold activity at the moment. We've got De Grey, we've got Calidus, Capricorn, and Novo. They're all in advanced stages of either building or operating a major gold project. So the Pilbara's certainly had its, you know, its renaissance in regard to gold, and we're confident we're going to soon join these companies on a development pathway. But interesting, when we talked about grade in Victoria, why we like this project is we consider it compares very well with the other companies in this area, particularly in respect to grade, because, you know, the Ashburton's 1.65 million ounces is at a healthy 2.5 grams per tonne. Also at the Ashburton, what we really like is its, you know, brownfields and its regional exploration potential. We completed our maiden drill program at the Ashburton in December last year, and that was very successful. And since then, we've been progressing development options in regard to the oxide and the sulfide ore. Some of this work, Kerry, is we're reviewing some of Northern Star's earlier plans, you know, going back 10 years to build a 100,000 ounce CIL plant, and then to build a stage 2 sulfide plant. And these plans by Northern Star were shelved back in 2013 when the Australian gold price dropped suddenly below $1,300.
Yep.
As we know now, the Australian gold price is $1,000 higher. So we think that gives us a great opportunity to really progress this project.
Couple of minutes left.
Yeah, sure. The project itself, it's over about 217 square kilometres with 7 mining and exploration leases. We had our first drill program late last year for about 5,800 metres, and we had some really nice grades, which we very much like. And so our development plans now are really to focus on the metallurgy here, Kerry, and we're doing a lot of work in that regard. Here are some of the maps as to where we're drilling and where we drilled this year. And we're currently doing about a 12,000 metre RC program. And we're also drilling a long strike and testing at depth some of these existing project areas. Kerry, here's some of where we've been drilling. You can see up in the Pilbara. We've got 1 drill rig operating at the moment, and we may add another, but as you appreciate, the drill rigs are very, very short supply at the moment. This is the Mount Olympus pit. You know, it's currently still got a resource of 1 million ounces, and we're looking to expand that with our current drill program. Kerry, I also just mentioned the Sisters Gold Project, if I can. This is a long strike from De Grey's, you know, world-class Hemi discovery, and its Melon Gold Project, which is now more than 9 million ounces. It's on the same shear zone, and we intend to be drilling there later on this quarter, this quarter or the next quarter, I would expect.
That's exciting.
And Kerry, let me just mention, if I can, a lithium project.
Yeah, we've got 1 minute left to talk about lithium.
This is our lithium gold project. It was an existing gold project. We did some review on it, and it's come up that we believe there's a fantastic opportunity for potential for lithium here. Obviously, we know lithium is in great demand in regard to both price and supply. And what's really interesting here is it's only, you know, about 45 kilometres to the east of the Pilbara and Waugh world-class lithium projects. what's interesting is it's got the same, what they call granite greenstone contact zone, and they call this the Goldilocks zone, Kerry. And so we're doing some major work there. We'll probably have some announcements out very shortly about this area, and we think it's very, very prospective. And yeah, I'd say just watch this space.
So was okay. Yep, we're running out of time. So just quickly tell me this one.
Yeah, talked just before, Kerry. We think we're very undervalued. Average gold EV is $72 per ounce in WA. We're currently trading at $27. So, Kerry, just to highlight, we're well funded. We've got great projects in both WA and Victoria. We've got good financial support. Fosterville, the land tender, who knows what may happen there. And of course, we've now got this lithium project, which we're looking at. So we think it's going to be a really exciting 12 months. So again, thanks for your support. Really appreciate it.
Good on you, Luke. Thanks so much. We're out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Not only gold, but they've got the lithium now. And I'd love to have pushed him, but we've run out of time. Watch this space. Thanks very much, Luke.